El Maestro Speaks.
El Maestro Speaks
El Maestro Speaks.
Podcast.
All right. And that, just like that, ladies and gentlemen, 2024 or the year 2024 is now gone. I would like to say Happy New Year to all of you guys who are like listening to El Maestro Speaks podcast. It's been like a while since I did the solo podcast. And I think what we are going to do here is we're going to do some like a year ender thing wherein we'll try to see what has happened. What has happened in like what is that? What happened in this year, and we'll try to give our analysis if we have, right, of what's happening or what happened to the world and to the Philippines, and of course to this podcast here. I would like to do this in English, as I know that there are some people trying to listen to me with this kind of accent that I have. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I do appreciate it. And I hope this coming year, 2025, you'll continue to listen to this podcast. All right. So, for the year 2024, I think the biggest event internationally that we can talk about is Donald Trump's re-election as the U.S. president. I guess the 46th, is it? I don't know. I lost count. Anyway, so Donald Trump's re-election in 2024 was like, marked by polarizing campaign, and it's actually a very huge victory against the Democratic opponent, Kamala Harris, and his second term, like, we don't know what's going to happen. Well, I think in a way it would bring some sense to the country of America, putting things in order, so to speak. I believe in his agenda of like cleaning up the illegal immigrants of their country. Well, that's their country, and they have their right to make sure that all those who are going there are legals, right? That they have their complete paper before leaving there. So, and I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen um with the Democrats. They think they'll be spending 4 years trying to destroy. This is the thing that I'm observing here, right? When the Democrats are in power, all the Republicans are like trying, doing all the thing they can do to destroy who's in power, and then if the other side is also in power, the Democrats are also trying to do everything they can to destroy the like the changes the other parties trying to exact on the or try to do for the country. So it's an amazing scene, and not amazing in a sense that I think you can find some comedy on it in a sense, but if you're going to take it seriously, it will lead the country to nowhere. So there's that. Anyway, um, a lot of people are trying to say that, like say example here, the second term brought significant policy changes, including stricter immigration laws, renegotiation of trade agreements, and rollback of several environmental regulations. Trump's administration faced both fervent support and fierce opposition as his leadership styles continue to dominate American politics and international relations. So everything was written here. We'll see about that. Um, my sources here. Oh, I forgot to put it here. But anyway, we'll see about that. What are the changes that he's going to put on or implement. So yeah, one of the significant event that happened this 2024 was that because nobody I think expected it that this is going to happen. Some people are saying that it was the first felon that was elected into office. We're not so familiar with the history of America, but I think you know, he is. Anyway, the second national or international event that happened was the rise of this country's communist country having their so-called alliance, building stronger like rapport to each other. Say, for example, we have China and Russia creating more coalition, including I think Iran and North Korea. So we saw this happen in 2024. A, a closer, if you will, a closer, what do you call this, relationship between these autocratic countries. Some say that it's like a history repeating itself. Hopefully not. Like what happened during the 1940s when World War II broke out, wherein, say, autocratic countries came together. That's happening now. Now, if a world war is gonna break out at this moment, this generation, at this time, I would be very sure that that will be the end of our world with all the kinds of high-tech weapon that we had, that they had, okay, that the superpowers have, like that Americans have nuclear weapons, and for sure China, Russia, and other autocratic countries have. So if war breaks out, for sure that will be the end of the world as we know it. And for another one, we have here the Israel's offensive in the West or in West Asia. Okay, so Israel launched a significant military offensive targeting key leaders and infrastructures of Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon. The campaign aimed to dismantle these groups' capabilities and respond to ongoing rocket attacks. Now, this was the first time that I saw the Iron Dome in action, right? Thanks to internet. All right, so Iron Dome is like their protection against missile attack, and it worked like effectively protecting them. Israel is a very tiny country, but their military strategy, yeah, and military might, well, of course, supported by the U.S., is just enormous, and they're still continuing this. What do you call this one? Offensive against what they call the terrorists, their neighboring country, and can't see we can't see it ending anytime soon. So in a war like this, the the number one casualties are always the civilians, specifically the women and the children, right? So yeah, just because of internet again, we have seen the effect of those attacks. Um, Women crying for their dead husband or children, and you know, it's too graphic to describe. And the next one, we have the climate change. It's happening, ongoing, of course, on the year 2024, which was you climate change topic. It started like in 2016, and we have heard names, notable names like Greta Thunberg. What are those names? Right, So a lot of governments in other countries are trying to work on things or ways to like reduce carbon emission and to like protect the environment like that. But I don't know. Every discoveries that humans made, say for example, this new trend now of the EVs or electric vehicle, uh, it's bringing up something. It's bringing up one way or another. It's bringing us something that can pollute the environment, right? And the byproduct of creating that car, I think some people say, and I think it's in on my part or on my opinion, I think it contributes more to damaging the environment than what people claims it to be. You know, just imagine if people will be all of us will be using EV. Okay, uh, that vehicle runs on battery. Now, battery, if it dies, you need to change it. Now, where would that waste go? You know, still, everything, every activity that human does contributes to polluting its surrounding. So, but anyway, it's better. Maybe people can say it's better than doing nothing, which is right. Yeah, we gotta do something to to protect our environment so it will live longer, for the future generation. So I guess they're right. It's better to do something than do nothing. Which is right. And 2024 also was the year wherein all things, I think even ovens have AIs in them. I just laughing with oven with an AI. Everything, every gadgets that we have in 2024 have AIs in them. It's the year that the rise of artificial intelligence technology came to all electronic products. So we have AI for Google, we have the Gemini. For we have the Chat GPT also, and what else do we have? Microsoft Copilot. We have a lot of AI this year. We we have AI now on our phones. I think it is the number one selling point of all the phones that was created on this year, on the year 2024. It should have the AI capability, AI on camera, AI on a lot of things. So, um, the problem here is, well, in the field of education, everything that a teacher asks a student to do is being done by AI now. So teachers must be very, very, observant in uh, checking the students' output to determine if this was really created by them or it was done by AI. For the graders or the elementary grade, it's real easy to detect it. I had a lot of times detected some articles that was not written by the children, it was actually written by an AI. And really easy, but the problem is when you go to higher education, right? Now, I don't know how this changes or how this artificial intelligence is going to adapt to their life in the future, but is someone who was trained classically. I mean, is someone who, well, I mean, when we were young, we used the library. We don't have Google back then, and if someone was trained like that, uh, I'm seeing a decline on the children's ability to research, to solve problems, especially solve problem solving, which is very important in someone's life. Problem solving can teach you or can be transferred. The skill, I mean, that you will learn from solving problem is transferable to actual life situations. You know, and if a lot of children rely on AI, we'll be having problem. We'll be having children going to be lost with this very simple, obstacle. So there's that. That's my number one worry on this artificial intelligence or the usage in the education, field. Artificial intelligence, will there come a time that it will be better than us in terms of emotional and a lot of the human aspect? I'm not so sure. Maybe give it 10 years, 5 years, it will be. Will be like a human. We can never determine who's human and who is not. But, like I said, always remember this development came out in the year 2024. All right. The sixth global event that happened in this 2024 was the Sudan Civil War that persisted in 2024, causing a widespread devastation of and the humanitarian crisis. So, armed conflicts between government forces and the groups led to significant casualties and displacement of civilians. Of course, international aid organizations ramped up their effort to provide relief, food, and medical assistance. Like I said, if there's a war like this, the number one casualty are always the civilians, specifically women and children. So, it's nice that international communities are doing whatever they can to provide assistance, food and medical assistance to this population. But, as if this civil war continues, then, a lot of future or a lot of children will be having a, destroyed future. Okay? Hey, they will be suffering from malnutrition, and it's just sad. It's just sad to see things happening like this. So it's difficult to weighing sometimes, but it's part of it. It's part of life, they say. I'm not sure if we're having the music happening. All right, are we having it? Okay. All right. Let's try it. Hello, hello, hello. And of course, the next part there, the Russia's offensive in Ukraine is still continuing as of 2024. They have like doubled their offensive effort to control the disputed territories against Ukraine. So yeah, we do not see in the near future if this war is going to end. War between Russia and Ukraine is going to end. So we don't see that in the near future, but hopefully they can come to an understanding, right? So like in Sudan, a lot, millions of Ukrainians were displaced. I think this is also one of the reason why uh, who's the name of the boxer Vasily Lomachenko. We won't be having him, or we won't be seeing him in the ring soon because I think, according to some news that was relayed by Bob Arum, um, his children, his children's school was bombed, and he really need to go to Ukraine, I guess, to help his family, and we won't be seeing him in the boxing arena in the near future for like maybe a long time. Yeah, it's the effect of war. And then 2024, Syria's regime collapsed. After years of civil war, the regime of Bashar al Assad in Syria collapsed in 2024, leading to his exile in Moscow. The power vacuum created by the regime's fall led to chaos and efforts by various factions to gain control. International actors, including the United Nations and neighboring countries, worked to stabilize the region and support rebuilding efforts. The collapse marked a turning point in Syria's long standing conflict, with hope for a more peaceful and democratic future. So that's what really happens, right? When one regime falls, if there's a vacuum, power vacuum, there's going to be a chaos. Okay. And again, in the chaos, the number one victim again are the civilians. So it's really, really important for a country to have a stability, kind of stability, and sometimes you're really choosing of even if the government is like corrupt, you are like you do not want the government to be gone because once there's a power vacuum there, that's gonna be chaos. Somebody's gonna be like a lot of people will be going up trying to regain control, right? And that's dangerous. It will lead. It will be worse than having a corrupt government. Yeah, I I think that's a very bad analogy, but it is the reality of life, right? So sometimes having a government, even if it's corrupt, as long as it is stable, is like a lot better than driving them away and creating the power vacuum, which leads to chaos, which leads to the ultimate fall of a country. So there's that. Number nine, in the global events that happened in 2024, space exploration. 2024 saw remarkable achievements in space exploration, like with Japan's mission successfully landing on the moon. A lot of people think that the 1960s, I don't know what year was that, moon landing was fake. We don't know. But anyway, Perseverance rover discovered potential evidence of ancient microbial life on Mars. Yeah, I just don't understand if they discover that there's life on Mars, where will that study lead them? What will it help? What will it do, or what help will it give if you have this kind of discovery? What kind of help will it give to us people living in Earth? I just don't understand. Sometimes it's just if you look at this space exploration, it's just like a just like showing off that they can do it. I don't know. Because, yeah, if you have discovered a microbial life on Mars, so was it, now what? Now what? What are we going to do with it? So, you know, sometimes uh, this news are crazy, but it's part of our life. We just, there are less people who can do it. We'll just appreciate them for doing that, maybe. But sometimes we have that kind of question. Number 10. The global event is the Paris Summer Olympics that has been laden with a lot of dramas. We have this boxer who competed is a woman, even though I think some, what do you call it? Some news note tells that he is a biological man. I don't know how he was able to convince the screening committee of the Olympics to compete in women's category. We have a break dancer who holds a PhD in breakdancing, show her breakdancing movement, and her dance made the breakdancing sport a laughing stock. In a way, yeah, that's what happened. So Paris Olympic, really interesting. Also, yeah, and this Paris Olympic, Philippines got two medals, won two medals. One athlete won two gold medals in this Olympic, uh, Summer Olympic 2024 in Paris. And aside from winning that one, there's another drama involving him when he came home. So, yeah, a lot of dramas that happened in 2024, connecting the Philippines to Paris Olympics and that kind of drama. Carlos Yulos drama. I think I talked about him in one of the episode of this podcast. Yeah, so there's that. In the Philippines, what happened? Yeah, accordingly, we have an economic growth. So Philippines experienced robust economic growth, according to uh Philippine Daily Inquirer. Sorry. Oh, all right. No, I'm not laughing about this news. I'll give you my analysis. So, the Philippines experienced a robust economic growth in 2024, driven by increased foreign investment, infrastructure development, and burgeoning technology sector. The government's initiative to attract investment and improve ease of doing business paid off, leading to job creation and higher living standards. The economic boom, particularly evident in urban areas where new businesses and industries flourished, contributing to overall prosperity of the nation. Accordingly, that's what happened. Now, every time I read something like this, I've been reading something like this ever since with different administrations. Now, we can see that on the paper, we see the development of the economy, but we in the middle class and to the lowest class of Philippine citizenry does not feel it at all. I don't know when. I don't know when the middle class to the lower class can feel the development, economic development, but I think that's how we should measure development or economic growth. If the people, the most common people to the second class or the middle class people can feel it, then we can say there's a growth. But if only the business people are the ones feeling it, it's like I don't consider this a growth. It's a development of some sort, but we've been seeing that kind of development ever since. The problem is we at the lower class does not feel it. So every time I see this, the reaction that I had a while ago, that is always my reaction. Anyway, natural disasters in 2024. The Philippines faced a lot of several strong typhoons that caused like widespread damage and the loss of life. I think it also like suspended. It is the cause of like 3 weeks, almost a month suspension of classes for the basic education. That's why for the 2025 they will be like ratifying or changing, amending the guidelines on the suspension of classes during typhoons or disasters like that. But we had a lot of like disaster that happened to us. Well, anyway, I think that's every year, right? It, the Philippines is always facing disaster every year. There was a volcano that just that's exploded just on the last end of December. There's that also. So as we all know, the Philippines is a volcanic country. It's uh it's also in the ring of fire. Yeah, chains of volcanoes surrounding it under the sea. There's that. Political development, political landscape of the Philippines underwent significant changes in 2024. We have the unity team broken up. you know, uh, I don't know because of dividing whatever money they got. I don't know the reason, but yeah, the united party that people voted or people believe that's why they voted for them, both of them, the the president and the vice president, now united. It's not a unity team now, it's a divided team. And efforts between the teams of destroying each other is happening right now. Aside from that, political developments, the budget for the year 2025 is ridden with a, you know, legalized, I would say, allegedly legalized theft. Okay. They see to it that they can get money from the budget, all these lawmakers did, in a legal way. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, that's why, uh, like, I think 90% of the Filipino have lost their trust to Congress because of the thing that happened. And actually, they're still trying to, in the media interviews that they're having, they're still trying to, like, rationalize the thing that they did to defend their actions, saying that the money that they have taken, I mean, or separated for that project they called AKAP or whatever, is like is transparent that it goes to the people who needs it. I don't believe. Okay? There's always a way for them to do things, and you know, it's just disappointing to see a government like that. They removed subsidy for PhilHealth for some reason. Um, PhilHealth is like the health insurance of all the Filipinos here that you cannot use if you will use a private hospital. I don't know the rationalization of that, but you will use it 100% if you go to charity ward. Charity ward is like the public ward. I don't know the rationalization for that. The case or the the mere fact that middle class people are paying a higher premium, they should be able to choose the hospital where they want to go, and you should be able to use their PhilHealth 100%. I don't understand. It's really, there's really something wrong with the system, you know? So I talked about this on one of our radio show, and like I said, it would be better if there's two health insurances that's catering for the people here, and the people have this freedom to like review these two health insurances and choose which one is the best. If there's two health insurances, they will be competing to offer better services, and I think that will fix the corruption that is happening right now in this so-called health insurance. You know? They removed the Congress trying to reduce the budget for education, and it's you know, those are the negative things that's happening. But like I said, but sometimes, like I said, when we're talking about the global events, it is it's better to have a corrupt government at times than to try to destabilize the kind of government. Now, if you're successful in destabilizing it, it might create power vacuum, which will lead to chaos, which will lead to a chaotic country, and of course, a lot of things can go wrong when that happens. You know, you're really, I don't know. The only way that we can fix this is by voting wisely. So hopefully, if there are Filipinos listening to this, please vote wisely. Yeah, those are the things that happened in the Philippines. Now, oh, I've been trying to put a limit on my solo podcast for try to do it for 30 minutes only, but we're already 37 minutes in recording. But anyway, thank you for still listening. So what happened to this podcast in this year 2024? So 2024 we had like a lot of conversations with great people. I think this was also the year when we had the 100th episode. It's funny, because we started this in 2015. Uh, and it's my fault because um, I don't have that consistency to the podcast, but now I'm trying to do it every week, including the radio show that I'm uploading also, which is in our local language. I'm trying to do the solo podcast in English, just to, number one point is to practice my English. And the second one is, like I said, I saw some people in other countries listening to this, and I do appreciate that. And like I said, you can always write your comments, share your opinions on the topics that I'm discussing here, so that we can have like a discussion at the same time through the comment section. It's my first time to see that there's a comment section in Spotify. Anyway, so my Maestro Speaks podcast has a lot of like guests. Had a conversation with a lot of guests during the year 2024. One of the notable guests I had is my co-teachers. One of them is a principal actually. One is who is very knowledgeable, adept in the Igorot culture, Sir Principal Moresto Amiataw, sharing to us the gods and goddesses of the Igorots, of course, and the story of his life, right? And the indigenous people's education. We had a lot of a conversation with him about that. We also have Tinda Ines, a radio broadcaster at RPN Baguio, who is hosting the program Duyo Yakbot. We had him twice explaining the issue about the ITAS accordingly by one vlogger that Igorots are also Aitas. I don't know where they learned that, and it's wrong. Aside from that, I also had a conversation with Andrew Paulino. Andrew Paulino is, I think that's the second time that I had a conversation with him. Andrew Paulino is a barangay kagawad or counselor in a barangay legislator in one of the barangay here in Benguet, and also local artist, a singer, popular singer here in Benguet. So, you know, those are some notable conversation or people that I had conversations with. Of course, we also have our author here, Thor Sagut. Thor Sagut is an author and a national awardee. Um, he is one of the top young men, top 10 outstanding young men of the Philippines. You know, an author, accomplished author, and illustrator. We also have a fighter, mixed martial arts fighter, Aaron Pusawan. Aaron, the preacher's son. I gave him that moniker. I hope it sticks, you know. A preacher's son. He is the son of a preacher, and he's actually a preacher himself. So we talked about his life, or his passion in martial arts, and his plan in the future. We also have that, and of course, one conversation that I also cherish is my conversation with the Team Lakay founder, Coach Mark Sanyao. We had that in 2024. We also have 2024 a conversation with Eric Kelly, also an MMA fighter, right? Former champion MMA fighter. And one of the podcasts I will never forget for this 2024 is also my conversation with this greats. First and foremost, we had uh, attorney Mauricio Domogan, former mayor of Baguio, former legislator or representative of Baguio, been mayor of Baguio for the longest time. I had like 3 hours of conversation with him, and that's one of the most, I think, notable achievement of this podcast for the year 2024. Also, I had conversation with one of the great radio broadcaster of Baguio, Kapitan Peter Wasig. See, I also just met him in this year, 2024. 2024 is the start of my friendship with this great mentor, great guy, great radio broadcaster, and of course, you can never forget my conversation with Mr. Jimmy Lozano, again a legend in the field of radio broadcasting. Speaking of another legend in the field of media, I also had a conversation with Mr. Art Tibaldo. You know, those are the guys that had that graced this podcast with their great presence, with their great wisdom. I think I have forgotten some, maybe, but I'm sorry. I know if I cannot remember your name right now, you know that you are great. And of course, my conversation with a Jomer, we have that, and with one of the singer here, it's the second time, Mr. Swing Vlogs, Sipoy. Those are the things that happened in this vlog, and there are a lot of people saying that, oh my goodness, your podcast is so long. Why? How about you edit it? Well, I do edit it at times, like my conversation with Mr. Mario Lodaes. I edit it to to follow the rules of the Philippines about cyber libel. That's I think this is the difficulty of having a podcast in the Philippines, we had a lot of laws about libel. So we gotta be very careful about things, saying things, and I have to edit it. But in terms of like cutting it to like have only 20 minutes, I don't want to do that because what I want is I want the natural flow of conversation to just be there and let the people just choose what they want to hear, what they want to listen to. I want it to be natural. Of course, there are some times that I need to remove something libelous. We have to follow the rules. We're not in America. We are not protected by any kind of amendment whatsoever. So I have to follow some rules. And I really need to, at times, I need to get some advice from my friends who are lawyers and ask them what they think about this part of the episode or part of the podcast. Is it okay if I can just publish this like this? If they say you'll get in trouble if you publish that one, so I need to cut it. Those are the things. Those are the times when editing comes in. But apart from that, I don't like to edit it because I want it to be as organic as it is. Of course, let's not forget also the latest last conversations that I had in 2024 with Michael Dean Quanso. And oh my god, I forgot my friend, our new friend, Ace Skinner from Idaho, USA. So we had him in this podcast just recently. Anyway, that's what happened in this podcast. And what are we trying or what are we expecting to happen this 2025? I'd be expecting a lot of conversations with great people. Now, the reason why I'm doing is this: I know that somewhere in this vast land of the Cordilleras, we have great stories to share through conversation. Your life, your life as a person is a story that can inspire someone. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to like, share your story, share your point of view to people that hoping that it might inspire other people listening to this. So that's what we're trying to achieve here, and we will be doing it again till the year 2025. So, like I said, thank you so much for listening. For those who are listening from another country, I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Um, those who are not from the Philippines listening to this, as like I said, looking at my the 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 data that's coming back from Spotify is there are some people in the country, other countries listening to this. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like I said, you can email me or you can just write something in the comment so we can talk about it. And of course, with the people listening here in Benguet, we're growing little by little every day. People are now appreciating Spotify, though still Facebook is the king here in this part of the world. There are some people also who are trying to do podcasts, but it's a little bit. It's not a podcast in a sense that they don't have the RSS feeds, but still a podcast, still a talk. But they upload it on Facebook, so you know there's that. And of course, thank you so much for listening. I think we're gaining a lot of listeners now. Slowly we're growing, and we'll be doing this weekly, whether we have a guest or not. We'll be doing solo podcast. We'll be doing that. There'll be coming a time that we'll be doing a live one. We'll try to do that soon in the future. So that's what's going to be coming on 2025. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And once again, Happy New Year to everyone listening in the whole world. Happy New Year and see you again next time.